Hello and a warm welcome to this special edition of To The Point coming to you from Pune. This week on the show, a special politician who's been there in politics for more than 5 decades. And he's a man who remains relevant in all the eras it's said in Indian politics. I welcome Maratha strongman and NCP Chief, Mr. Sharad Pawar, on To The Point. Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you.
My first question to you, sir, is that the bipole victory which recently has come from Gondia for your party and for you as a politician, how crucial is this victory coming to you at this point of time?
You see, generally on many occasions I have seen in the last 50 years, in bipole, some of the seats always doesn't perform in favor of the ruling party. That's why I don't take that seriously bipole results. But this time I am taking bipole results very seriously because there is difference between other bipoles and this bipole. There were total 10 by-elections of the Vidhan Sabha in throughout India. Out of 10, the ruling party lost 9. This is not simple thing. And it's not only one state, they are in different parts. West Bengal is there, UP is there, some other states are also there. Secondly, about 4 by-elections of the Lok Sabha. Though the BJP claimed 2, but actually they won Maharashtra's 1 seat in Palghar, and other 3 were not exactly theirs. That has gone to other parties. And thirdly, in Maharashtra also, if you see the seat, there were 2 elections in Maharashtra of Lok Sabha. Both seats were sitting seats of the BJP. In Palghar they succeeded, but if you see the total number of votes which ruling party got, I think more than 65% votes has gone against them. And the other seat, Gondia, Bandara, which we lost last time, and we succeeded to recapture that seat from BJP.
So your party has 7 Lok Sabha MPs right now with a vote share of about 1.16%, if you look at the total vote share in the country. So what is NCP's next strategy? What is NCP's game plan for the larger battle of 2019?
Well, generally my efforts are try to bring like-minded parties together in coming elections with an understanding on minimum common program. I have already discussed with many political party leaders. I was in Bangalore. I had a chat with various other party colleagues, and generally that is the mood. Mamata ji had a talk with me. She has similar view. My thinking is, I'm trying to convince most of the political party leaders, let us accept reality. What is reality? Reality is, once upon a time, throughout India, there was one party which was having substantial base and ruling, that is Congress. Now, Congress position is not exactly that. Congress is definitely an important party in many states, but not throughout the India what was there for a few years back. BJP has definitely succeeded to improve their position in last election. But I cannot say what was the position of Congress in good old days. BJP has reached to that stage. But we have to accept that BJP has a clear-cut majority in the Lok Sabha. And that's why they got every right to run the government. Now, how to go ahead? What we see today in India, in every state, picture is little different. And in that situation, I honestly feel, and I'm trying to convince my colleagues from opposition, everybody should accept this reality. What is reality and what should they accept? They accept who got a real response and support of particular state, And if he got that position, then others has to accept that position, that he is the number one in that state, and others has to accept secondary position.
But sir, when you're saying that you're trying to make this effort of bringing all the like-minded parties together, of course, Trinamool Congress's Mamata Banerjee is one queen in her own state. Naveen Patnaik is the king of Orissa. It's almost like that phenomena. Strong regional leaders coming out of every state. But when these strong leaders come in together with strong egos, how hopeful are you that this kind of a coalition which you are talking about is going to be successful?
I have to complete that what exactly I want to say. I'm suggesting my colleague, now take the case of Kerala.
Okay.
Kerala has a major party who is a ruling party is left. We have to accept left is a number party, and we have to accept that Congress is a number two. If you come to Karnataka, for instance, we have to accept Congress is a number one party, JDS is a number two, Deve Gowda's party is number two. In such situation, in the state election and state leadership and providing alternative in the state, that number one party with association with others can provide a viable, stable government and alternative to BJP. Now, these parties, when question comes out to Lok Sabha, they have to contest Lok Sabha elections collectively, state-wise, and ultimately that figure which will come at national level, if our effort should be to see that they will come to provide a viable alternative. The question will come, who will be the lead? And I don't think we should make that issue as a prestige issue. That time, let us sit together, let us call all MPs, let us call the party leaders, and democratically you elect and hand over the responsibility to that party who got substantial number of MPs, and others has to cooperate.
Right. But when you talk about these disparate forces, like you were saying that you're convincing all these leaders to come together and form one front, so are you for sure indicating at this point of time that there is an emergence of a third front or some kind of a rainbow coalition which is going to be formed for 2019?
I don't say third front or second front. I honestly feel in 1978, what was the Janta? 77. Janta, though it was a one party, but it was a combination of many parties.
Right.
Jansangh was also part, Samajwadi was also part, other Congress certain sections like Moraji Bhai Desai and others, they were also part. And ultimately that combination in the name of Janta fought and provided viable alternative. Similarly, efforts has to be made on that line. Only question, Janta has a one party, this is not possible, let us accept reality. State-wise situation is different, but this is possible to work together collectively, agree on common minimum program and provide a stable government. Because what we had learned in 1977, as on today, most of the political party leaders do feel that national level we have to accept ground level situation, and there is not only one party or one leader who can provide the alternative. There we have to work collectively.
But sir, as you said that of course the ground situation has changed, and when you give me the example of 1978, how the Janta government came together. So from 1978 to 2018, it's long time which has passed on, and the mindset of the people has also changed. They want quick fix solutions by any political party which comes to power. They want people who can promise them jobs, the party which can promise them hope. So at this point of time, when the situation is so fluid, when the Rainbow Coalition, if I could call, is still in the process of whether it's going to be formed or not, how will you really offer that mirror of hope to the people?
That's why every time I say to agree minimum common program should be the basis of how to run the government. We want to come together. We want to work together. we have to promise people of India together. But unless and until we come to understanding within us, that this is our path, this is our program, and we reach to understanding on that program and path, and promise to the people will not listen. They will not respect, and that's why we have to accept this is a ground level situation, just to afford to somebody and win the election is, you might succeed, but that will collapse today or tomorrow. And I don't want that type of situation again.
But sir, bringing in the like-minded parties, and especially when they are in their own strongholds, they are big faces. And given the fact that general elections are less than a year away, it's already June 2018, and by next year, April and May, you would have the general elections. So how hopeful are you of, when is this coalition going to be announced?
No, you see, after this Karnataka, the process has started. So we are waiting for formation of government in Karnataka. Another 2-3 days we are waiting for full-fledged government in Karnataka. Now both parties, major parties come together, they have reached to understanding, they have reached to distribution of portfolio. I think from 7th onward, we will start meeting individually in Delhi and other places.
Okay. What are the issues on which 2019 election is going to be fought? Because as you said that right now the effort is to bring in all these forces together against BJP. That's what you are indicating. So what are the real issues which this coalition will be talking about for 2019?
No, firstly, this coalition has to provide a confidence to the people of India, irrespective of caste, language, religion. Country is one. And this government, alternative government, will be able to give confidence to all sections of the society, which sizable sections of the society doesn't feel comfortable in present regime, BJP regime. We have to see that we have to give confidence to all sections of the society, which present government is unable to give.
But sir, there is a feeling
and
that
there are other issues also. A country like India, for instance, a major issue is agriculture. Sizable sections of the society depend on agriculture. In last 2014 onward, the percentage of the farmers' suicide is increasing. If ultimately those who are supposed to look after the interests of the country are going to neglect the entire major section of like agriculture, I don't think. Similarly, no job creation. What is the percentage of job creation? What situation is unemployment? There is no substantial improvement in the job creation. There is no expansion of industrial growth.
But sir, this agrarian distress and the farmer distress which you are talking about, this has been a phenomena which was also seen during UPA rule, and even before the regimes which were there, we saw the same kind of phenomena, and it is a fact that none of the political parties have really paid the real attention to the farmers. So if you are going to be a part of the coalition which is going to be formed, what is the blueprint which your party or maybe your coalition will have amongst the people? Can you convince the farmers today that when your coalition comes to power, the farmers in the country will be happy?
No, if you go to Maharashtra, any village, they will remember me about the agriculture and farming policy. Why? You said in UPA 1 and UPA 2. UPA 1 and UPA 2, if you said, ultimately what is the outcome? Outcome, this country was importing food grain from outside India, wheat and others. I recollect, I have seen, when I was in the state, looking after the state government, we are importing many items. I can understand in those days also, suicides were, farmer suicide issue was there. But when we saw that issue, We took lot of interest.
When you talk about the loan waiver policy, every government, whether it is in the state or the center which is coming to power, is resorting to the loan waiver policy that we'll give farmers the loan waivers, and that's how we'll give them some relief. But do you think that as a long-term plan, that is something which is really helpful for the rural economy or for the farmers?
No, basically providing, firstly, why that situation has come. That has to be there. Suppose there is a drought. It's beyond control of the farmer. Or
Now, if drought is beyond control, then why blame the Modi government for this?
I'm not blaming Modi government for drought.
No, but the opposition is doing it.
No, not because of drought. I'm blaming because they are neglecting.
But sir, would you not give credit to the Narendra Modi government for the kind of long-term planning they are doing? For example, doubling farmers' income, not only on paper but on certain policy measures. They are working towards doubling the farmers' income by 2022. So
I'm sorry, nothing is happening for doubling the farmers' income, except announcement made by Mr. Gadkari that such and such money we are going to provide for irrigation projects. We are providing more money. Let us see actually when we will get that money. That means irrigation. But in 4 years' time, nothing has been improved from the angle of doubling the farmers' income. Practically, farmers' income has gone down. I myself is a farmer. But unfortunately, these are all slogans, and I must say, I'm sorry to say this, but very few of my colleagues in central government sitting as a minister today really understand the basic issue of Indian farming community.
okay, sir, talking about the political strategy of for 2019. Your party is almost open to join hands with UPA again. So when are you joining UPA? Because you severed the ties in 2014.
You see, to be frank, we have not actually formed UPA in true sense. We are working together, we are sitting together, we are discussing together, and that process we have already started. Actually, we have not reached to that stage where there is some form of organizational setup. But as I said, after 6 or 7, we will start discussing everybody, and after discussion, after our meeting, after our collective thinking, something will emerge.
But are you ready to join hands with BJP as well?
No, no question also.
Because your party had offered unsolicited support at one point of time to
because the
BJP.
people don't understand what was that statement. That statement was a conscious statement made by me, not any other person, to bring this unity between BJP and Shiv Sena. For us, unless and until these two sections contest separately, doesn't beneficiary to us. And that's why it was a political statement for that, but we never supported.
So you're saying that you will not join BJP at all, come what
out
may.
of question. Ideology-wise also I cannot digest.
But sir, with the limitations within which NCP functions, the political framework which you have, you're limited to certain pockets in the country. So you also understand your party has certain limitations. So given maneuvering within those limitations, and you are ready to join hands with Congress. Congress, it seems, is at all not in a hurry because it is working for its organizational strength right now. They seem to be piggybacking on all the regional parties. They are happily saying that you all fight against the Narendra Modi government and I will just support you. So how hopeful are you? Are you banking at all on the Congress?
No, your assessment is not fully correct. Okay. In certain states, what you say is that position is there. But there are many states where Congress position is number 1 next to BJP. They want to take reins of that state under their hand. And that's why they are also quite serious. They are not just there to support other small parties. And that's why we want to work with Congress also.
What about the succession plan of your party, sir? Who is the political heir of NCP?
No, you cannot say like this. Ultimately, party will decide. You see, I have to accept one thing. We know what is our limitations. I cannot claim, though my party got a recognition from Election Commission as a national party, But still, I know what is meant by that recognition. We have to expand. And it will take hardly 20 years has completed to this party. In that situation, we will definitely expect certain good leadership will emerge and who will be accepted by masses and party colleagues. They will become ultimately who can, they will resolve this issue that who can lead, not my son or my daughter or anybody. Fortunately, I have no son. That's why that is not the issue also.
You've seen Congress during Indira Gandhi's time, you saw it during Rajiv Gandhi's time, you saw it during Sonia Gandhi's time, and now it's Congress under Rahul Gandhi. When I interviewed you in 2014, you said that Rahul needs to learn a lot. We've got that interview still with us. And do you think he has matured in all these 4 years as a leader?
Substantially, there is an improvement. What I said previously, that was my view, and there was a reason. But on many occasions recently, I had a detailed discussion with him. I honestly come to conclusion that gentleman, young man is going on correct direction. He is ready to work hard. He is ready to understand ground level situation. He would like to understand and respect other party leaders who got something, experience, Vyas and others. And here is a leader who is ready to realize what is the ground level position for his party also. And that's why definitely there is substantial improvement.
But what is the reason why people, when you compare Mr. Rahul Gandhi with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he looks very inexperienced. It seems that he's not able to convince the people with whatever plans he's coming for.
Why should they compare Rahul Gandhi with Narendra Modi? How many years Narendra Modi has ruled? Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister for so many years. Narendra Modi is now 4 years as the Prime Minister of this country. Narendra Modi in political party organization who spent more than, I think, total period of age of the Rahul Gandhi. And that's why definitely there are certain plus points and there is a certain minus point from that angle. Because that opportunity Rahul Gandhi has not didn't get. But there are many people. Why only Rahul Gandhi?
But so would you not concede the fact that the kind of charisma and the pull power which Narendra Modi has, none of the regional leaders you have just spoken about have that kind of a crowd pulling power? And the way he's gone about globally has almost brought India at the international level?
I don't know international level because I have seen in the last 50 years, I mean, either assembly in parliament, I have seen many prime ministers visited different parts of the world. They definitely visited that country and they address the local countrymen. But if you see carefully, Mr. Narendra Modi's each and every visit of outside India, he addressed only Indian people. He addressed Indian community. But if you go and address only Indian community speak in Hindi, attack Rahul Gandhi or Congress directly, indirectly, and make some loud statements, and use the Indian television.
But sir, addressing the Indian community is not the only news which is happening. He's also bringing in investments. He's also bringing in.
No, he is just. You see each and every visit of his thrust is addressing Indian community. Of course, he is meeting head of the states. That's impossible. If he is going, definitely he has to meet.
But sir, don't you think that's a new kind of politics which all these regional parties, including Congress, has not been able to do?
No, but what? You see, everybody was doing. Rajiv Gandhi was doing. Indira Gandhi was doing. Jawaharlal Nehru was doing. Dr. Manmohan Singh was doing. And they were more respected.
But those were not the days of social media when too much of information was available for the people, the way leaders interacted with the people, those times were different, and the present times are totally different. The way you need to reach out to the people, if I'm wrong, you might just correct me.
No, definitely. You see, the social media situation is definitely changed. But that is beneficial for also others. if you see the total approach of the government who is in power today, directly or indirectly, they want to control social media. They try to bring certain regulation on social media. When there was a sharp reaction, they stopped. Again, they started that. Why they want to curb social media?
But sir, if you're talking about curbs and regulation of social media, maximum attacks are coming against the Prime Minister only on social media. So if there were regulations, if there were curbs, then why were people writing?
That's why you are mentioning about social media. Social media is not convenient. You see, present government has come to conclusion this weapon is not convenient to us, and that's why they are trying to bring some directly, indirectly control or some restrictions on that. That is not correct. The country will not tolerate. Younger generation will not keep mum.
Okay, sir, we are in the final lap of the interview and talking to you about your prime ministerial ambitions.
Absolutely not correct.
If at all the coalition is coming up.
No, because Sharad Pawar knows what is his political strength. Sharad Pawar knows what will be his total strength of the parliamentarians in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And I always believe the rational approach in the politics. And in such situation, a person like me, who got ample support from masses for years together, you see, so getting elected 14 times continuously without single defeat in the last 50 years is not small thing.
But sir, would you not concede to the fact?
And that's why I am a person who is quite happy with all these things, and my desire is to provide a viable, alternative, stable government to this country and see that my support, my experience should be beneficial for that without expecting anything from me.
But Mr. Sharad Pawar is also known to be friendly with all the parties, whether it is Congress or the regional parties, and he is the most acceptable face for all. So don't you think that all would get together and prop you as a Prime Minister?
That's
if at all you are talking about the success of the coalition.
I always keep good relationship with everybody. I don't believe, I may not agree with BJP, but I don't believe they are my enemies. I do believe that their ideology, their program is not beneficial for the country, and I will oppose it hundredly for that. But personally, I will not hate or I will not go to that level where our Prime Minister talk about Rahul Gandhi or other opposition party. I will not go to that level.
One last question. Are you going to contest in 2019?
No. I'll prefer to go to Rajya Sabha if my colleague says yes. And why? Because I said I contested 7 Assembly and 7 Lok Sabha elections. I think a person at the age of 78, I am ready to work 5 days a week.
But people say age is just a number for all the politicians, especially a strong man like you.
That's why I prefer to work. I spend 5 days a week, I travel 5 days a week. I will try to build up younger generation, but unnecessarily, I will not think that I have to become number 1. And for that purpose, I am not, if I am going to take irrational approach, no.
Okay, wish you a good health and wishing you many more years of success. It was a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Pawar.
Thank you.
So that's it on this episode of To The Point. See you next time with another personality. Goodbye and thanks for watching.